What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of The Drain Plug with Torco, and I'm here with Luke Agajanian, a good friend of mine who has a bitchin' BMW adventure bike that he's brought over so that we can change the oil and take a little look at it. Finally, this is what this series was all about, is showing you guys some of the cool friends and some of the cool rigs and vehicles by which they adventure with. What's up, dude?
How you doing, man? How you doing?
Thanks for coming.
Of course.
What do we got here?
This is a 2012 BMW R1200 GS Adventure. It's the Adventure model, which simply means it just has a bigger tank, some more protection that comes stock from the factory. But this is my do-it-all bike. It's been all around North America and South America, and I love it.
Right on. Well, let's get the oil out of this thing, and then let's kind of take a deep dive while the oil drains and the bike cools off, and see what you've done to this thing.
All right, let's do it.
Right on. So we're going to start by taking off the lower skid plate here. It's a T30 on this one. Is this a factory pen that you Rhino lined?
It is, yeah. I got it from, it came with the bike when I got it, and I just Rhino lined it, and I've been really happy with it. It holds up. It's taken some big dings, as you can see there.
Yeah, that Rhino lining is pretty thick. It's like a like it's 1/16 of an inch of just coating.
Yeah, it's really amazing how well it holds up. And like I told you before, this runs a lot cooler too for some reason. I don't know why.
I'm not. You just got here, and it's I'm not getting burned. All right, so we're gonna drain the oil. It is a 8mm Allen, and I guess it's considered a VH8 if you read the side of your little bit. But am I going lefty? I'm going left. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. And let's see how messy I can get this to be. Not bad. Just a handful of oil as usual. I really suck at pulling off the plugs.
All right, guys, so basic walkthrough of my 2012 GSA. Let's start in the front here. Do have a headlight cover because these are really expensive. The headlights on these bikes suck. I would love to do an LED upgrade someday. Having said that, in the state of California, you can have lights, and you can have lights on a motorcycle. You can light up the world on a motorcycle, and it's totally legal, and it's much, much safer to do so. That is why I did not purchase the average motorcycle branded lights, and I went with KC HiLiTES and, more importantly, the Flex Era 4s. These right here changed everything for me. When I put these Flex Era 4s on, two of these is brighter than my friend who has a $1,300 lighting package on his motorcycle, and these cost me just over 600 bucks. Now, I did have to get my friend Greg from Wired by Greg to wire these up so that they would work, but they were able to go into the stock switches and everything else. After that, I wanted something that would a little more light off to the side that would also then go high and low and react with my high and low beam. That is when I went with the Flex Era 3 from KC. The amount of light I get off of this bike on the road and especially off the road is ridiculous. Like, I don't feel I need any more light than what I currently have. And I went with the amber covers because a lot of my friends that I ride with said that when I put the amber covers on, they saw me more. It stuck out to them more in their during the daytime. So most of the time I'm running with the amber. When I am splitting lanes going up to Los Angeles, it's like the seas part. It's really, really amazing. Moving on down here, probably my number one must-have on the motorcycle is Continental TKC 80 tires. They're coming out with a new TKC 80. They don't make these anymore. And all the complaints out there, oh, they wear out quick, oh, they this, that, and the other. I don't care. On the road, these things are sticky, and driving up to my house in Arrowhead and going up to Big Bear, coming down the mountain passes, these tires are amazing. And when you're in the sand, when you're in the dirt, I don't want a 50-50 tire. I want an off-road tire that means more to me, my traction off-road, than having like a street rated tire riding around town. Again, I'm on this bike quite a bit, but I'm off-road with it at least once a week. And the TKC 80s are amazing on the road. They're sticky. Now they do wear out. About every 3,000 miles I have to put a new rear tire on, and the front tire goes about 6,000 to 7,000. But it's totally worth it to me to have that level of traction on the road and especially off the road. I went down one time on this bike and I was doing about 3 miles an hour coming to a stop in front of Marco, saying what's up to Marco, what up Marco? And I hit sand and just went eh! But other than that, Death Valley, sand, everything else, I cannot say enough good thing about TKC 80s. I spend the money. Motorcycle tires are cheap. I don't care about miles on them. I care about traction. Moving on down here, I have a bunch of Lone Rider bags on here. I got them from a friend of mine who has a relationship with Lone Rider. I would have purchased these. They're amazing waterproof bags. I think they look cool. This one right here holds a chair in it. Has my little chair for when I go to the range, my click chair. I can put a water bottle in here as well. This one right here holds kind of like my wallet, things like that. This is just a little accessory bag. Moving on back, the whole bike was Rhino lined. Now I came up with this color scheme and idea from the guys at I Am Roamer, my friend Tony and Troy. They had this amazing Jeep that they called the Buffalo, and the color on that was a matte satin metallic brown, and it's a colorway called Rembrandt, and it's a Bugatti colorway. So the bike used to be red. I wrapped it in this brown color from Alive Wraps. The guy at Alive Wraps was the only person who would take on the psycho idea of wrapping this thing, and he did it. And then the other parts I had Rhino lined from Rhino Lining in Orange County. They can Rhino line anything, and I took the parts that get a lot of wear and I went ahead and Rhino lined them. This actually gets a ton of wear from my legs and from my motorcycle boots, and I know it's like a plastic part, but it just looks cool. Engine covers obviously have held up, as has the skid plate. You see some good rocks and nicks. I've hit rocks so hard, especially on my Death Valley run, it shook the bike, and everything was perfect on the bike. For those of you getting a motorcycle or getting into this, buy all the protection you can. Stay away from the Gucci stuff first. Start off with protection. Don't buy an exhaust, you don't need it. Start off with the protection, because it's not if you go down, it's when you go down, and it's gonna save you thousands down the line, trust me. Moving on up here, I got these mirrors. I forgot what they're called, but I got these mirrors because on my on my Death Valley trip with KC HiLiTES, I broke a mirror, and I didn't want to break mirrors anymore. So when I go off-road, I just do this little twist here, and I pull the mirrors up, and now the mirrors are up and out of my way. So if I do fall down or hit branches, things like that, they're up and out of the way. Coming up to the control panel here, I was running a RAM mount for my phone holder. I've since switched to this quad lock because, as you can see here, it's on a shock absorber. I went through 3 iPhones because it ruins the iPhone camera. It damages the image stabilization. And this little quad lock thing here, it's the best money I've spent, and it's been great, and it's a nice quick off and on. I have the case right here for the phone. Now when it comes to the iPad, I'm still sticking with the RAM mount. So the BMW GPS unit sucks. It sucks, and it's $800. It's ridiculous. So I ditched that. It's just right here for now in case somebody wants to use it later. I probably will eventually just totally remove it. But I went with the RAM mount and an iPad Pro with a cell phone service package. So all of my mapping, I'm a big Onyx guy because I'm a hunter. So I have the Onyx Off-Road in here, and I use that for off-the-grid mapping. And then personally, I just like Apple Maps for my everyday use. I can see text messages on here. All my music's on here. I can hook this up Bluetooth to my helmet and run all my music. No, I don't watch movies like James Bond or anything like that, but the iPad, it's just a superior unit from the overpriced GPS unit from BMW. Up here right next to this, I have a tire pressure gauge. This is something the new bikes all come with, but my bike did not have. So tire pressure gauge is very, very important to me. Last thing you want is to start feeling your tire pressure going down on the highway doing 80 miles an hour, it's nice to just start seeing that drop, and it starts beeping at me, makes a very, very loud beep. Even if I have music playing or something like that, I'll hear this and see it. It starts flashing. Next to that is my rugged, this is kind of a makeshift Amazon radio holder I've got here, and I always usually have a GMRS, but if guys are with different radios, I also own my own digital radio band, and so sometimes I'll have my own personal radios if it's just my friends on a trip, but I don't have a way to utilize the radio hands-free yet. Usually what I do is I can hear it. If I need to, I stop and I just press it and talk loud into it, and that's worked for me so far on all the trips I've been on. Coming back here, one of my big things traveling off-grid was water. I drink a lot of water. You go through a lot of water riding a motorcycle off-road, and I hate the camelback. I don't want weight on my back when I'm riding off-road. That's just me. Some guys can do it. Great, good for you. But I was able to get a 1.7 gallon roto pack back here. I fill this up as well as a big water bottle that I keep in the side here, and that usually gets me by 2 days. I don't want to go much more than 2 days without refilling with water, but usually on an overnight trip, which is what I really enjoy doing on this, is quick overnight trips up to Big Bear and Arrowhead area. The 1.7 is enough for me. Wash my hands, all that kind of stuff. I ended up, I mounted the plate to the plate here, so if I want to take it off, it's actually quite easy. This is a custom backrest that I did myself, but I just take my key here, come in here, click this, and pull up, and I have access to, my water. But that's how I mounted it. I just took a grinder there. It's on my YouTube channel if you want to see how I did this, but that's usually how I pull the water off if I want to take a drink, wash my hands, something like that. Moving back here, I Rhino lined the panniers. I like running the panniers. A lot of guys are into the soft bag thing. Cool, that's great. Totally get it. When I'm at camp, I really like having a panniard. I pull both panniards off. I can sit on one, use a table, use it as a table for the other one. And it's just a laser key lock that pulls those off of there. I have rock straps kind of everywhere. They're the best straps. I went with pink so nobody steals them. I don't know why I went with pink. It's just they were on Amazon, so I bought them. When I go camping, my entire camp kit fits in this one panniard right here. So my tent, sleeping pad, sleeping bag, my whole Jetboil cooking system, food. I have a bottle of water that goes in here as well. I can fit my whole camp in this one bag right here, which leaves space in the other bags for other accoutrements, whatever I want to bring. Moving back here, I have the Lone Rider bag. This is new for me. I'm not in love with it, primarily because it's kind of hard to open this up with this here. Like I kind of have to jimmy this to the side, which is sort of annoying. But my friend Steve bought it, and he ended up not liking it, so he gave it to me. It's pressurized. You can, if you get close, you can hear the air kind of come out of it. It has a little pressurized valve right here, so you can crunch it down if you need to once you get the thing all packed up. And then I do use the map here. This is I have the BDR map in here right now, because that's what I've been doing, is all the California southern BDR stuff, which is awesome except for the first one. The first leg sucks. Don't do it. But I like the Lone Rider bag. It's a couple clips. I can take it off, use it as a duffel if I want to. For now, it's great. I've had a couple different top box configurations, and this is the one that's lasted and the one I'm liking currently right now. Down here, Alaska plates. What up? Don't ask. It's a long story. But yes, I have Alaska plates on it. This bike lived in Alaska for some time, actually, because my dad rode it from the Florida Keys all the way up to the Arctic Circle like a savage at 70 years old. He rode this bike and with his crazy friends, and they took it up there, and it was in Alaska for a year. Right here is my toolbox. This is an Amazon special. It's not the Tour Tech and all the expensive stuff. The Tour Tech one is amazing and probably much better than this, but this cost me about $20 and has a key right here. This is my entire Denali BMW toolkit. So that's basically all the tools I need to completely disassemble the bike, as well as a whole bunch of spare parts like crush washers and things like that. So This is a very extensive toolkit, and tire patch kit is in here. I've only needed the tire patch kit, luckily, one time. The center stand here, the whole reason for the center stand is so you can go ahead and change those tires. You can work on the bike much easier. The center stand is awesome, especially in camp. I kind of open everything up and I'm able to just have a nice stable platform while working on the bike or just being in camp. I still obviously have a kickstand, but the center stand is really nice. Right here is the buddy tow. It's just a small strap to you know, be able to tow myself out of things. I can also use this strap around the tire and actually pull myself out. That's a whole nother trick you can Google. But I have the buddy tow mounted there. Sometimes I have an axe right here as well, but lately I've just been putting the axe in my bike. And then the most important part, I have personally seen 2 motorcycle accidents on the freeway right next to me. And both of those accidents I pulled over, and one of those accidents I had to use my med kit tourniquet on a guy's leg. Luckily there was a paramedic, a fireman who had just gotten off work. He was right behind me as well. He didn't have his med kit on him. I had one. So having said that, always have my med kit right here. This was my first Lone Rider bag. I was always looking for a waterproof solution for my med kit, and Lone Rider had this bag. Everything fit in there. I have 3 tourniquets and a basic IFAK setup that's in there. No decompression crap, nothing like that. I'm gonna be close enough to good medical stuff, and that's not medical treatment I'm comfortable doing personally. But I do have quite a bit of combat training in medical, and this is everything I feel comfortable and confident using, as well as there's a little boo-boo kit in there too. So this is a little waterproof bag for that. And then right here I have the Shirai lithium battery in here. This battery's been in here for, I think, going on 9 years now, and it still works great. And if I'm gonna park the bike for a while, I can hook it up to a trickle, but I ride the bike enough where I never have needed to ever trickle charge it, because I'm on this bike a lot. This would be one of my primary modes of transportation. It gets 35 to 40 miles a gallon, and it's just more efficient riding a motorcycle around town as much as I can. My history with riding bikes, I raced motocross since I was a kid. I learned how to ride on an Elsinore 50 before I got on a bicycle. So I raced motocross, I raced the San Diego Supercross and actually broke my finger on the triple jump. It was great. But you know, I grew up riding motorcycles. I had a Harley 1200 Sportster when I was 15 years old. I used to deliver pizza on. When I got on this was like, oh, I can do so many things on this bike. It's not my ultimate dream bike. I have a motorcycle maybe this year I'll be getting. Looking at a KTM 690 or the Husky 701. That bike really speaks to me for what I do a lot. But you know, for now, I love this bike. It's my bike. It's what I've got, and I have so much fun riding it. And there is no, I guarantee you, I have much more fun than most people do off-road. Like, I'm always laughing because, well, my friend Rob from Redlands Motorsports, he has go fasts and he has rock crawling buggies and he has everything else. His #1 favorite thing, he has a sand dune buggy, side by sides. His #1 favorite vehicle that he has is his little 450 dual sport. And it's because we have so much fun on the trails. Well, now I can do the camping part with all my friends and have a blast on the trail and not worry about wrecking my daily driver, all for the price of what you guys pay for a lift, you know? So it's an awesome thing to do. If you're even thinking about riding a motorcycle, I would just say do it, and just go take the CHP class or take a really good class on how to ride a motorcycle. That's going to give you a giant head start into it, and then have the proper equipment, which we'll talk about real quick. So on equipment, the #1 injury on motorcycles is hands and wrists. #2 is feet and ankles. And then after that, it gets into gnarlier road rash, back, neck, head, things like that. So when you buy gloves, I don't buy gloves that just look cool. I bought gloves that were very functional, and the guys who know how to design functional things is the road racers, okay? So these are Dionysi gloves. They're designed after their full gauntlet that the guys wear on the racetracks. And if you see here, it has this giant cast over the pinky, and more importantly to me is this hard plastic on the palm. So when we fall, what do? Right? So I wanted this hard plastic. This was really important to me. The knuckles thing, you never think you need it until you go bashing into a tree or a branch or something like that, and it's nice to have. I don't have the full gauntlet because of the jacket I wear, but I love these Dionysi gloves. For off-road, I do wear a thinner glove, which I have right here. I wear these climb gloves, so not that hard plastic, but still a good padding with like a Kevlar material there. It's a thinner glove. Gotta have the little touch sensor thing for the iPad and the phone. It's not the full carbon, but it's a good hard shell on the knuckle. These I only will wear, only wear off-road. So if I'm going off-road, I put these gloves on. But if I am on the highway and I'm on the road, no matter what, I'm wearing those gloves right there. You don't get the helmet that looks the coolest or costs the least or the most or anything else. You get the helmet that fits the best. For me, the best fitting helmet I've put on is the Climb helmet, but they've been out of stock for like 8 months now. But their Cryos Carbon Pro helmet is unbelievable. It feels like a Cadillac on your head. Having said that, it's an $800 helmet. I'm still gonna buy it because it's the best helmet on the market right now, or it's one of those best helmets on the market. So for helmet, you're gonna look at Arai, Shoei, Bell, Climb, and there's probably one more, the Schuper, I think it's called. I don't like those because you look like a nerd, the whole head comes up. Don't do that. Anyway, I went with the Bell. This was the best bang for the buck for sure. Not as comfortable, but it fits my head the best. The Shoei is amazing, the Hornet, unbelievable helmet, $700 helmet. Doesn't fit my head, period. I think it looks the coolest and it's the one I wanted, but it doesn't fit your head. So go to a good place like a Revzilla or a good motorcycle shop where they know how to size you for the helmet, and they're gonna encourage you down the right path for a helmet. And then I do have the Cardo Black on here. Got speakers inside, can listen to music. It's all hooked up to Bluetooth with the phone or the iPad. I can say, hey Siri, play the Deftones while I'm on a ride or something like that, and these speakers are awesome. Now, my rule is, if I'm gonna be on the road for over an hour, I wear the pants as well. And the pants come up and fit right over my jeans, whatever I'm wearing. And when I'm off-road, I'm always wearing a motocross boot. I don't wear those adventure boots. They suck. It's just, you might as well wear a combat boot. Okay, I wear a motocross boot, and if I'm doing a long ride, I have my motocross boots on as well, because, you know, what's the number 2 injury? It's your feet. So I went out and I found the highest rated jacket on the planet, and that was the Climb Badlands Pro. This has and there's all sorts of Googling you can do, but this has like some crazy rating from Europe that's like 100 miles an hour at 10 seconds, meaning that's the skid resistance on the jacket. That's insane. Most of these jackets don't even have ratings like that, and if they do, it's like 30 miles an hour for 3 seconds. Okay, for me, I wanted that protection, and for hold on, who's talking to me? Pause. Oh, Siri thinks I'm talking to her. Hold on, there we go.
Abrasion rating?
Yeah, the abrasion rating on this is just on a whole different level. The jacket is very expensive, but I have a young child now. My wife was like, I want you to be protected. So for me, I put this on. Now this jacket's so good, it has so many vents. I can wear this in the middle of summer here on Southern California with just a t-shirt, and I feel great. It breathes really, really well. I can wear it when I'm off-road and you know, just cruising on a trail or something like that. Now, if I'm doing more technical riding and I'm not really breaking that, you know, 30 mile an hour speed limit, you know, speed there, which kind of for this bike on those technical trails, that's probably where I'm sitting. I can wear a jersey then and some basic padding, and I have a little vest that goes over and has some elbow and shoulder protection, but I'm not going fast on this. I can be on the highway doing 80 and get hit by a car. And this is going to give me the best chance for survival. There are so many stories of guys wearing this Climb stuff in, you know, Argentina, and they lay it down doing 50 or 60 on the highway, and they get back up and they're like, huh? And they look down and their clothing's still there, everything's still intact, there's no road rash, and they get back on the bike and they're able to get home in a country where maybe you don't want to go to the hospitals there, you know? So Huge fan of Climb. I know they're the Gucci kit. You are getting what you pay for with this stuff. That's one thing where I say it in the gun industry and a lot of other industries I'm involved in, you don't always get what you pay for. On the motorcycle world, at least with this brand, you are getting what you pay for with this, and when you see the technology they put into it, it's pretty amazing. This has all CE level 2 armor, shoulders, elbow, has the CE level 3 back panel in this, and then even has a level 1 in the front chest right here, which is nice. Never needed that because I'm probably gonna run my head into this thing at first, but it's still nice to have. The jacket is not light, it's heavy, but it's got a lot of reflectors on it and all that kind of stuff, and it just makes me feel warm and fuzzy. Riding out to Death Valley, we had 50-60 mile an hour winds, and I'm watching, you know, cars tip over. Like I saw a motorhome tipped over on the side of the road, and I had some scary moments on that. And all I thought in my head was, I'm so glad I have all my stuff on right now. I had my pants, jacket, my boots, gloves, everything. So check out Climb, K-L-I-M. I have no relationship with them or anything like that, but they just make really good stuff. And I didn't want to buy it because all like the guys who just throw money at problems wear this stuff. It's like the old rich guy BMW crew. And then I did my research and saw the work that actually goes into building this stuff, and it's the best purchase I've made for my bike in a while. Guys, one last thing, the most important thing I always have on me, no matter if I'm just going down the street to the store or wherever, is I clip to me at all times a Garmin Mini, and the Garmin Mini is turned on. It's either up here in this jacket pocket, or a lot of times I just clip it onto my jeans with the little carabiner. But I have friends that have gone down by themselves on trails with no cell service. And why do we clip it to us? Because usually we're not close to our motorcycles when we fall over and crash. So I want to have this on me where I can get to it with both hands and activate it. My favorite place used to be clipping it right here. I put it in this pocket most of the time, unless I'm really off grid, and then I clip it up here to my collar. So Garmin, get one. They're cheap. Just get the membership, the emergency membership, and have one of these on you, especially if you're riding a motorcycle off-road.
All right, so for this application, we're gonna use Torco's T4SR, which is their racing oil. We're using a 2050 weight. Did I get that right? Holy, I got that right. We're using a 2050 weight because right now things are warming up. There's not a lot of fear of things freezing over, at least in the Big Bear area where Luke frequents. And if you know anything about Luke, which if you don't, he's got a great channel on YouTube. You can check him out at Luke A Shoots on YouTube, and you'll get to see some of the adventures he goes on. And he takes this bike everywhere. So you'll often find him up in the hills of Big Bear, doing stuff that, you know, a lot of people don't do with a bike as heavy as this. And for that reason, we're going with their racing oil from Torco, which will keep up. If it's good enough for race bikes, it's going to be good enough for Luke. It's going to take care of like high friction, high load demand that the engine's going to be under when Luke's going up hills and doing his thing at speed. So we're going to go ahead and fill this up. How many quarts? 4 quarts. So basically 4 bottles of the Torco will go into the bike, and that's it. So for the drain plug, we got it back on, but we got to torque it to 32 Newton meters per BMW spec. There it is. And then we're gonna go ahead and remark this with a little bit of our thread marker and just make sure that Luke can tell when it's backed out or not.
Cool.
So it's interesting, the oil fill area is right here, and if you look, it's a very strange kind of plug, and it has this tool. Does this tool come with the bike?
It does.
Oh, so you just put this on here, and then really easily be able to pull it off. There's not a lot of torque on there at all, so I imagine that works both ways. And as much as I love these wide mouth bottles, in some certain situations you're going to want to use a funnel. So got our funnel, and there's a lot going on. You can even see the chain right there, so you're not going to really fully be able to get it in. Just hold it there in place and you're off to the races. So this is our 4th quart we're about to get in, And what you're gonna see on that window is you're gonna see the oil level rise. And once it reaches the top, we're done.
And stop. And we're good there.
All right, one thing you'll notice on the Torco bottles, they always do this. It's 0.056. So across 4, that's like 1.2. And you just want to make sure you're pouring in just enough to reach where you need to be and not over pour. All right, let's button it back up and just go ahead and hand tighten. You don't want too much torque on here. You just want enough to where, there you go. You'll feel it kind of stop, and that's good. That's it. This bike is done. Dude, amazing bike.
Thanks.
Awesome story. Thank you so much for like getting kind of into the weeds with like the tips about the gear. I think that's super useful. Knowing you, and we've been friends for quite a long time, I know you're like on Google more than the people who work at Google are on Google. And
Yeah.
I'm sure everything here has been researched to the nth degree. And,
Yes.
and it shows.
Yes. And just kind of thinking outside the box. And I mean, you know that with my truck too. Like, you're like, what did you do that for? And I always have like a specific reason that works for me.
Right.
Maybe not for everybody, but it's for me. And, you know, with the bike, you know, definitely doing like the iPad thing. That's not the cool thing to do. No BMW dealer is going to tell you to do
But
that.
it's functional.
Yeah, the lights too. Like, no, they want to sell you overpriced, you know, lights that cost 3 times the amount of the KCs.
Yep.
And I'm like, no, we have better stuff. Like,
Out there, just do your research.
yeah, KC, Baja, Rigid, like,
Yep.
those are 100 times the lights than what is selling to this market.
Sure,
For sure.
but you know, for the guy who just wants something off the catalog, it's great. For the guy who's going to put the time in, do the research, you know, there are things out there that'll make your life that much more convenient and give you so much more access to the things you want to do.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for making the time to come hang out with me in my driveway.
Thanks for the free oil change.
Get
You don't
your-
know what it costs. These things ain't cheap to change the oil on. So thank you, Torco. Thank you, and this oil looks awesome. I did my little research. I'm like, what are you putting in my bike? I was like, what is this?
You're not going to blow up my bike, are you?
Are you gonna blow up my? Yeah.
No, your bike's a lot happier for you.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. Thank you.
Right on,
Appreciate
brother.
it.
All right, guys. So you can check out Luke where?
Luke A Shoots is my YouTube channel. It's bass fishing and off-roading and shooting. Shooting a lot right now, so it's a lot of shooting videos.
Yeah,
lately.
we've been on a trip together. There's
Yep.
a trip video on there, and just stay tuned because there's a lot more to come with Luke and everything we've been doing. So looking forward to it. Thanks, brother. Drive safe or ride safe.
Thanks, man.
See you, bud. Right on, guys. That's episode 3 of the Drain Plug. If you liked what you saw and you want to see more, like or subscribe wherever the heck I'm putting the buttons. And yeah, I'll keep bringing you some really cool rides with some really cool friends. Thanks for watching, and as usual, more to come. Another happy customer.
Sounds happy.
See ya, buddy.